everyone. In my ongoing little series with cards, I was just going to play with something very simple, and I wanted to make something like this, but kind of in some holiday colors. And I do have these new paints and thought, let's get them wet and see what they are. These are those MAB watercolors. They're all handmade by this woman. I'm not affiliated with her. She just asked me if I'd share them, and she sent me these free paints, and I actually quite like them. They're kind of iridescent and fun, and I thought they looked very holiday-ish. So I'm just going to play with them a bit and see what colors, because they look different than what they do. Very pretty, very creamy. Always kind of my favorite if they're creamy, like my MeiLangs. Here's what looks like purple. They all have a quality of gray to them, which is kind of interesting. Let's see this bright blue. That's pretty. And this looks like kind of a bronze color. Get some more there. So that one's quite light. See if I can pick up. That one's really light. Interesting, because it looks brown in the case, but it's actually like a gray. And then let's see what the green looks like. That one's kind of light too. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now I can see that green in there. And then let me pick up again maybe some of this brown. Looks a little bit more like gray to me, or almost a taupe. So I'm going to do some of these fun little flowers with these. And these are the easiest flowers ever, guys. If you just want to do a quick little painting, use any color you want. You could use browns and golds and whatever color you want, but I'm going to kind of play with these. So what I'm going to be doing, and this is my 8 Velvet Touch. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to use my Neptune, because it does hold more water, and I want to be able to make these. I'll show you. These are going to be the brush strokes that I'm going to use. Like that. You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to use, so it shows up a little bit more, my regular paints, just because I feel like those might not show up. So there we go. So I'm going to be doing these little dabs and create a bunch of flowers. And this Neptune is great because it holds a lot of water. And then maybe I can go over them with those. So let me wash and rinse my brush. Let's see. Let's pick a fun holiday color. We'll do kind of oranges, maybe some browns. Let's try that out. So I have got my MeiLang palette here, and I'm using Sienna, which is kind of an orangey brown. And let's just start doing some dabs here. I'm going to create my focal point flower here. So just pressing down. Pressing down. So I'm almost kind of creating petals out of two strokes there, if you saw that. So here's one, and then here's the other side. So it's like I'm creating these petals with 2 dabs. So using just the lightest pressure on the tip, resting my hand, pulling it out just a tiny bit. There we go. Like that. Maybe add one more little one in there. So there's kind of my focal point flower. Now let's go in and let's see. Let's add in maybe a tiny bit of gold. So I'm going to mix a little bit of that up. I've got my Meeden palette. And by the way, I'm painting on my Artisto pads, which you know I love. So this is in my holiday. I'm going to make this one my holiday journal. And it is perforated if you wanted to go ahead and pull it out and give it to somebody, but I a lot of times will keep them in here kind of as studies, and I keep these by maybe labeled as the seasons or colored pads, color charts, drawing sketches. So I picked up a little yellow ochre and just going to add that in. Look how fun that is. Now I had some of this reddish color on my palette, so that got picked up, but I want a little bit more of that yellow ochre color. So I've got some yellow ochre on my palette here, my beautiful, by the way, Meeden palette. Love this palette. It's very heavy. A few of you asked me for a heavier, more practical palette. This one's great. Look at how large these wells are. And right now it gives me, you can hear it when I set it down. It's sturdy. It's a beautiful ceramic. Would be a beautiful gift too. Okay. So going to go up here, and I'm just dabbing with this Neptune brush. I can always go in and kind of fill in those leaves. I mean, leaves, these are petals, actually. Maybe make a wonky one like that. And then let's actually just try this color. Maybe as it sat there, it might have gotten darker. So I'm going to do another, I think, full flower here. Oh, it did. Look at that. That's kind of pretty. It mixed with my brown. So again, I'm just doing dabs. These are the easiest little flowers. And I'm just filling out these leaves here. Let's see. I feel like I maybe want to carry that up here. That's kind of fun. That it mixed together like that. And then I'm going to pick up this other color. I actually feel like I want this purpley color. Let's see what that does. And I'm going to add little buds. So I'm making these a little bit thicker, and look at that. It's actually mixing as well. I've kind of got two colors on my brush here. Let me just see what I got going there. There we go. I just continue to do these little dabs. Let's pick up some of their green and we'll draw some stems. So boy, for the stem, again, warm-ups and practicing those brush strokes, I'm using the very, very tip of my brush and going to start just drawing some fun little stems. Like so. I feel like I want a little bit more of a green color, but that's okay. We're going to play with these. Aren't these the easiest little flowers? And look at how pretty those colors are. I really like these fall type colors. Let's see, what other color could we use here? I'm going to go to my little palette. I really do like that green. So let me wash and rinse my brush. Get that color off. Okay. And then let's pick up some more of that green. And just create. So it's a green, but it has a lot of kind of a silvery color in it. And just do some little branches. Maybe we could mix it with our MeiLang green. Let's see what that does. A lot of times metallics I mix with my other colors, and I think it's really pretty. Oh yeah, I like that. Oop. Trying not to get my hand in the middle. So I've got a lot of colors going on here, but I like it. I think it's really pretty actually. And this Neptune brush is great for this because it holds a lot of pigment. It's much softer than the Velvet Touch, and it holds a lot of pigment in it. So the last thing I think I'll do here, make sure I wash and rinse that brush real good. And I always check to make sure when I'm dabbing it off, the color's gone. And then if I'm done using it, just putting it into that beautiful tip. And the Neptune is a lot softer brush, so really important with your softer brushes. And I'm going to pick up my 6 Velvet Touch Long Round and just do some little kind of grassy type things. I'll show you here. So using the tip of my brush, and I'm just going to very light. I don't want to do too many of these, make it too busy. I don't even know what these little things are I'm putting in here, but I like them. There you go. So this is kind of that composition of a V or, you know, kind of radiating out. I think I'm just going to add a couple more of this color, maybe on the outskirts here, because I want it to come out a tiny bit more. Oops, I need a little bit more water with that. Mixing it in my palette. So again, this Neptune brush is really great for picking up a lot of water. Yeah, I kind of like that. That kind of spread it out a tiny bit more, and I like that. There we go. I felt like my eye was kind of just stuck in this line right in the center of my page, so I wanted to feel like my eye was being led in different directions. So that worked for me. Yeah, that's quite nice. Isn't that pretty? There we go. Now I don't want to get too busy. I actually quite liked this mixed with my sap green, honestly. I thought that was really pretty. There we go. So I'm about done. I'm glad we got to play with these today. And these are kind of just like maybe little buds. There we go. And always remember, you can have some leaves kind of pointing downwards too. I used to always forget those, and I think those are nice to add in as well. Last thing, I promise, is I'm going to go into this color, if I can remember what color that was. I think it was the sienna, yes. And I'm just going to add a couple little, let's see, maybe some buds, maybe a bud right here. Maybe one here. And then I'll go in with that green, going to switch to my 6 long round Velvet Touch, pick up some of that green and just connect these, because right now they're kind of floating out there. So I'll just bring those together so there's some coherency there. And I quite like that. I think it turned out really pretty. You could always have, you know, more larger flowers, but I think this is quite simple and nice. So there you go. Today, again, supplies were my Artisto pad, which I'm going to keep this in here. My beautiful ceramic Meeden palette, of course, which needs to be changed. My Meeden 2 waters, one to wash, one to rinse. And I played with a little bit of this MAB watercolors, the Vivid series, which I think I will use more as to add to my paints because they're a little bit sheerer. And then my 6 long round for the tinier details and my 8 Princeton Neptune today, which you will very rarely see me use because it's much softer. I think you would be just fine with these Dugatos I always share. You get the whole set for under $15, and I think there's maybe 8 of them. You'd be fine with these too. They have a nice point. They're very snappy. So have fun with that, everybody. And I don't even know if I mentioned, I did use my MeiLang paints today. Can't afford to paint with Winsor Newton every day, so these are fantastic. Lots of colors. A lot of you have asked me what happens when you run out, which I have. I just refill them with whatever tube paints I have. I happen to have the Cotman brand Student, so I did fill 1 or 2 of them with that. But the MeiLangs are really rich and creamy and bright, and I love them. Paul Rubens, you rock. And that's it, guys. Happy painting and have fun with these little fall florals. Bye.